Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is like my second video I've ever posted, and I think today I wanted to give some reflections actually, because I think it's a great time right now. It's like in the morning, and um, we just got done with a lot of things, a lot of thoughts were going through my head, a lot of emotions, and I thought I'd just come here and try to share a few of them with y'all. Even though like I'm sure no one's gonna watch this, but if they do one day, I think it'll be a good memory for me to recognize, how far I was able to grow. Because I think like even if all these things are in my head right now, like I'll hopefully be able to grow from them in the future. Yesterday, I essentially told you about no contact, how I broke that like 3 days ago, and yesterday was essentially the last day we texted. So I essentially I think I was a bit pushy, and they were like, "Sorry, I'm a bit stressed by this right now. I can't do anything. It'd be better if you block me again." And so I realized like, hey, I gotta like stop doing that, and I gotta just block them. So I went back and I blocked them, and here I am. I think it's very interesting reflecting on love, because for me, now that I come back and that I try realizing things, it's hard for me to understand to what extent I actually loved her, right? Like my girlfriend. If you didn't see my last video, it's talking about heartbreak and stuff. And yeah, it's a bit hard to kind of see how someone actually loves, and what love actually means. I think during the relationship, there was a ton of times we both struggled, and to be honest, like we both weren't really reconciling well with each other. I think a lot of times we had really bad energies, opposite polar energies to each other. Like sometimes, she would make a joke and I wouldn't laugh at it. She would feel hurt, and then I would feel guilty and I would feel hurt. Or then I would, maybe she would um, do something and I would feel hurt as well. Like maybe, I don't know, just tell me something like I didn't like, or make me feel a little bit worse. But I think in all relationships, like there is that case where everyone gets hurt, and there is that case where you can't really stop anyone from getting hurt because it's almost inevitable, as if like, yeah, this is gonna happen and it's gonna hurt. And yeah, I think like I went on a walk with my friend yesterday, right? And this is how I kind of came to notice like I don't really know if I actually loved her, or if it was more of like, oh, I love the idea of having a girlfriend, or I love the idea of the potential, future we could have together. Because to be honest, like I think it was pretty hard during the relationship for me to be my full self. I think that is one of the biggest parts, which I understand is like important in any relationship, is the ability to be oneself, the ability to express what you actually believe, and not just try conforming your whole personality to your partner. I think a part of me and a part of her was just doing that. We were telling each other, yeah, this is what we have to do, to appeal to each other and do this and do that. And honestly, I think it hurt the both of us. I think it's really strange because now that I'm looking back at a lot of memories, all I can see are the good ones. And I think that's what really is making me sad, is making me regret everything, is making me really painful, really confused, really overwhelmed, chaotic, emotionally, just displaced from my body. Like I feel like I'm just stuck in my own thoughts. And I think the reason for that is because it's hard for me to recognize the reason for the breakup, you know? And I think that's something I have to do more. Because I think if I stay here and she moves on, then I'm just hurting myself for absolutely no reason, right? So I have to actually learn how to do that. And I think it'll be a lot of time taking. It'll be a lot of work. It'll be a lot of pain. Like I think I'll still feel a ton more pain, but I pray to God that I'll be able to get over it, right? But yeah, I think that's kind of what I wanted to say, that I'm just kind of venting here, but it's kind of hard for people to express themselves. Sorry, it's hard for people to reflect on the bad times when all they can see is the good times, because that's what you lost, right? And when you're in the good times, or when you're like don't have the bad times, right? You kind of forget that the bad times existed, right? But then like when you're in the good times, like right now, right, or whatever, you always hyperfixate on forgetting that the good times you always fixate on the good times, and you never remember the bad times because I guess you're in a better position now to think, and so you only regret the good times and not the bad times. And to be honest, I think that's been one of the hardest things for me to be able to do is to recognize that there were so many bad times and not just good times. So yeah, truly. I think a lot of it is also like, post breakup, really weird thing is that a lot of times people will fluctuate between the high and lows. For example, I know for me, last night when I was walking with my friend at like, was it 8:30 p.m., 9 p.m., we were 9:30 p.m., it was like around that time, we were just walking, he was talking to me about his own situations and I was talking to him about mine, and he kind of expressed like, I think you were in love with the idea of her instead of actually her. And I think although that kind of punched me a bit, I think to a lot of extent it is true. I think definitely to some extent it's also wrong that I actually think I did love her, but I think a lot of extent of it was also true. But what's really weird is that's not the point. Though. What's really weird is that I came home, I tried to relieve myself by playing some Minecraft, right? And I couldn't focus. I couldn't prevent myself from just feeling sad at the idea that she's gone now. The fact that she's no longer with me, all the good times are gone. It was really hard for me to distance myself from that reality, right? Or to trace that reality. I was always distancing myself from that reality. I was deluding myself to think, oh, she'll come back in a week, or oh, these things will be fixed, right? And yeah, I genuinely don't know. I don't think they'll be fixed, to be honest. I think like the option for me right now is to just lose all hope and kind of just deal with the heartbreak, live with the scar or something. So, you know, I definitely think it was, or I definitely think this is going to be one of the like hardest experiences probably for a long time for me, just because of how much I think we both poured into the relationship, how much pain we also both endured, and then just the realization of like, yeah, the pain it wasn't really it didn't really work out at the end, and yeah, it really sucks. So, I woke up this morning in like a really bad state. Like I slept like 12:30 a.m. I woke up at like 6:30 a.m. just because I couldn't sleep, and I just woke up with my heart pumping like 100 beats per minute just because I was like so stressed. I was regretting the past. I was sad. I was everything was coming together. And I also had a dream about them. So a dream, right? So it wasn't helpful either to to have that as well. And the dream was also bad too. It was like she was breaking up with me, but it was like a different person in a different way or something. But it was clearly her, just in like a different body or something. I don't know. So yeah, um, these emotional moments of mine, I'm gonna have to face them a lot, right? I think a lot of times like I don't understand now. And when I do face those emotional moments of like reminiscent of like flashbacks of like, oh, what happened before, like it's gonna hit me hard. I think it's gonna hurt me hard as well. But I think that, you know what, I just have to like pray to God. I have to just go to God, emotionally just completely reveal my whole being to God, and maybe eventually we'll be able to, I'll be able to get better from this. I'll be able to heal. I'll be able to realize the truth of like, this wasn't worth it at all. Or that, God has better things for me. No matter how hard that might be right now, I think that hopefully I'll be able to realize that because I'm genuinely just placing my entire life to God right now. Like everything I've felt, all the pain, all the hurt, all the happiness, everything I'm just giving to God because I feel literally powerless here to heal myself, and I know that for sure. I'm really powerless here, and so yeah. But with all that being said, I thank y'all for sticking around, watching to the end of this video. I'm doubting anyone came here. Like even if anyone even watched my video, I'd be surprised. And so yeah, thank y'all for sticking around, and thank y'all for being here. Even if I'm talking to an empty wall, I think this is also a good way for me to vent myself too. So, thank you for this outlet, YouTube. I guess. Yeah. See ya, man.